Hi, and welcome to the Portfolio Income Map. We're going to be going through exactly what your skills and expertise could turn into when we apply them to a portfolio business structure. But first of all, what even is a portfolio business? What are we talking about here? Well, it's easiest to explain this in contrast with what the majority of you, if you've been in the online business world for a little while, might be familiar with as our traditional model. So, if you are a coach, a consultant, a practitioner, you have probably seen this model on the left that we call the value ladder. It is based on that there is a ascending scale in both price, proximity, and normally depth of experience or transformation within your offer suite. So you are moving people through. They might follow you on social media, download a freebie, purchase low ticket, mid ticket, so on and so forth. The portfolio system centers you in the very middle of all of your different offers. So rather than it being about a sequence of events or even a scale of price point, you will have individual streams where you may be working with slightly different clients in different ways at different price points. It is the best system for people that are multi-passionate, that love to express themselves in different ways, and also want to be financially diversified. Here's an example of what my personal portfolio looks like. So as you can see, I have 6 different revenue streams within my business. I have my one-to-one coaching work that I do with other aspiring portfolio business owners. I have some digital products. I have my mastermind Luminate. I have a partnership with the Australian Institute of Sport where I work with podium and podium potential athletes. I have my own therapy clients therapy practice, and I'm also the director of a private practice. For you, this is going to look many different ways. No two portfolio business structures are going to be the same, but typically there are 5 different streams that your different offers are going to fall under. So we can categorize them into premium one-to-one expertise-based offers, group and leveraged offers, business to business retainers and organizational style work, digital products and IP focused work, and assets and equity. I'm going to break these down for you and give you some pros and cons for each of them to help you get a bit of a gauge as to what might be the next best step in terms of starting to build out your own portfolio. So our first stream is in this premium one-to-one type offer. The effort in this is obviously very high. There's a lot of time effort. You're typically meeting with this person for consults. A lot of people think about this as the old time for money type structure. It doesn't always need to be that way though. If I think about my one-on-one coaching, that's more of a partnership model. We have coaching on Slack as well as our one-to-one consults. But there's still a lot of time involved in that in order for me to deliver that experience. From a leverage perspective, of course, it's going to be low. You will be capped based on the amount of time that you have. Time to revenue is fast though. So this is often where most people start. It is much easier to get one client at 10K than it is to sell 10 of your $1,000 offer. From an upsides perspective, cash flow, obviously, that time to revenue being very quick. It's also really good for validating offers. Self-validation as well, right? In terms of your confidence, if maybe you are just starting out, it's going to give you a really good understanding of your clients, of their needs. So many of my ideas for digital products for different group programs have come from my experience one-on-one. And then it's also fantastic for when we are developing IP. You might be creating some sort of framework for your clients that then you can utilize in other digital products or books, etc. From a risk perspective, it's obviously hardest to scale and it's the easiest to overdo, given that it could lead to burnout. And because we're capped at numbers, those of you that are really ambitious are going to want to go for more. Stream 2 is all your group and leveraged offers. So your masterminds, your group programs, memberships would also fit within this stream. The effort here is that they are often quite high effort to build, but more medium to run. Now, this isn't always true either. Group containers, which offer a lot of coaching on Slack, can be a really high time investment. So it is important to think about what's your end goal in setting up the structure. The leverage is medium to high because you can work with more people in a group than what you can obviously one-on-one. Time to revenue is going to be more on the medium side. You're building that brand awareness, you're building the awareness around the offering. In some industries, some spaces, people can be a little bit more hesitant to engage in group programs until they've been tried and tested and there's some familiarity there. From an upside, obviously, you are able to have more impact because you are working with a bigger room. Also great to be building peer relationships, peer rooms, right? Like you're creating that community. It's great for authority, people seeing you working with a number of different people, professionals, that brand awareness piece. And obviously from a values perspective, alignment around personalization as well. From a risk perspective, though, it can be that launch style model, depending again on how you structure it. So, open, close type sales model. This is what I have designed for my mastermind program, Luminate. So we take people in at 2 points throughout the year. So obviously my sales cycle is refined to those 2 points. I can't be generating any new clients into that program unless they're happy to wait for the next cohort. And obviously validation is super important in order to get the numbers, because often a lot of these group programs, it's a word of mouth referral too, right? People continue to come in, you might retain them in there. Our third stream is the business to business retainers and fractional work. So my partnership with the Australian Institute of Sport would fall into this. The effort is typically more medium and often can be a bit more flexible in terms of the nature and the length of the engagement as well. Leverage is low. I mean, it's similar to one-on-one, right? Like you are contracted with that person or you're partnering directly with that business. Time to revenue can be slow initially to perhaps get the deal, pitch the proposal. However, then it is steady, it's contracted, it's predictable money coming in. The positives of this kind of model is the stability around the revenue. It's obviously recurring, it's contracted, as I said, so you can predict that as part of your cash flow, which is always really, really nice. We definitely want streams in our portfolio business where we have that stability of revenue. That's almost the beauty then of allowing us to go and play in some of these other streams and be really experimental. From another upside perspective, it's obviously great for your reputation to be working with big, impressive brands, and can also be great to be in a business and meeting lots of different people to leverage your network. I know through my own fractional work, through my own partnerships, it's been really great at cross-referring into other streams within my business. Risk-wise, it's obviously relationship dependent. I've had some clients over the years that this has been the one and only model that they've come to work with me starting out on. And they might only have 2 or 3 clients. And then if one of those clients leave, and because they're probably not out there doing business development work or very much marketing work, that means then that financially, they're going to be pretty rocky until they sign another retainer if they don't have more of this portfolio kind of model. Our fourth stream is digital products and intellectual property-based assets. So your books, your online courses, etc. Effort's obviously going to be very high up front. I don't know if you've ever tried to write a book, but lots of hours, energy goes into that. From an ongoing perspective, though, it's low. You're able to put it on some kind of sales funnel. And I mean, marketing perspective wise, it can be quite high in terms of the effort, but it's available there, right? You have it within your suite with some good messaging, some good automations. You'll probably find that you'll be able to leverage a system where you're getting quite predictable sales and conversions. Leverage perspective, really high. There's no limits as to how many people can buy your course. Time to revenue is often on the slower side. And from an upside perspective, compounding revenue. I mean, tick, tick, tick. How good to have something which is like a bit of an unlimited cash pot for you, and you're rewarded, or you have the potential to be rewarded so richly for your expertise. It's also great for both nurturing your audience, because these offers are often a little bit more on the accessible side, right? You know, if I can buy your $25 book before enrolling in your $10,000 coaching package, that's going to really build a lot of trust and authority. Risk-wise, we want to make sure that you price for value, and also that you think through your audience's preferences on how they get value from you. I've seen a lot of clients over the years go wrong on this, where they've rushed to the digital products first before they've had those frameworks and that validation built out through one-on-one or more group-based styles of programs. Our final stream is assets and equity. From an effort perspective, obviously low ongoing. I mean, you can get people to manage these kind of things for you, and then you're really, really passive. High upfront capital though, right? So there is a high effort because there's a high point of entry. Leverage is very high. Time to revenue can be, I mean, it can be a little bit on the slower side, but I would say maybe more slow to medium, reflecting on that now. I know personally when I started my private practice, because we created such a beautiful, welcoming, non-clinical space, it was a rare thing on the Gold Coast where I live. And so getting those people in there to work with me, although it took a while to find the right people, it wasn't on the slower side as what it's been for when I might have been building out some kind of digital asset. The upsides are obviously freedom currency. I mean, there's so much flexibility in this. As I said, you can get somebody else really to manage the whole thing for you, and you're super, super hands off. And risk-wise, that upfront capital can be a really big barrier for a lot of people. It's also a really different mindset than service work. I mean, I think for a lot of service-based business owners, the coaches, the consultants, the practitioners, we're used to the time for money. And so almost investing all of this money up front can be quite a mindset shift for us. So I think that that's important to be named. And as I said, can be challenging at times to find the right partners or tenants if that's the model that you're going down. So what's the ultimate goal with a portfolio business? Ideally, we are chasing 3 to 5 streams that cross-feed each other. And it doesn't need to be that they are all connected. Again, it's not our value model where we are ascending people through a transformation. This is about you having certain streams that feed into each other. So for example, I might have someone come and work with me inside of Luminate, which is my business mastermind. They might build their business to a stage and season where they have a team, and then they retain me as a one-on-one performance coach within their business and to work with their team, organizational culture, and identity. So people will commonly move between those two. The same with my digital products. People might work through my digital product and then they might come into Luminate. So they're always cross-referring into each other. I have people move from therapy clients into business coaching clients. But ideally, in some way, shape, or form, we want at least a couple of your streams to be connected. A portfolio business isn't really like you own a mechanic shop, a laundromat. Like, that's not what we're talking about here. That's like a multi-business owner. There is a common thread that connects you in a portfolio business, and that common thread is you, your genius, your expertise, your skills. From just a general principles perspective, limit to 2 per category. So if we're aiming for, the 3 to 5 streams, it's not about you having 5 digital products of all different sorts of shapes and sizes. We might have 1 to 2 digital products. There might be a group program in there, and then some sort of one-on-one partnership kind of model. Really embracing that experimentation mindset. This is the biggest thing that I'm often speaking about aspiring portfolio business owners around, is you have to be out there just throwing some spaghetti. Have a process for what it looks like to ideate an offer, market test it. If you have no idea where to start, I have something coming for this. But you do really need to lean into that not knowing and testing the market, because it might be in a year that you trial 3 to 5 new streams and only keep one of those. And that's perfectly fine. That's what I love about this model. There's so much flexibility, because ideally you have 1 or 2 of your streams holding that predictable revenue there, which gives you the freedom, the permission, the flexibility to go and express yourself in other ways. Ideally, we want multiple points of connection between the streams. Now, that's what I was speaking about before. Not all of your streams need to be connected. However, it's great if a couple of them could indicate some cross referral. I mean, that's just like win-win, right? It's like, then the more present I am in my personal brand, when I do work in my therapy practice, it leads to people joining my business mastermind. Like, how good. I'm kind of getting paid to then build the other streams within my business. And obviously, marketing connectedness as well. This is a really big part that you want to nail. Ideally, within each of your streams, they kind of have their own sales cycle. They'd have their own attraction, conversion, delivery, retention strategy. However, we want, in terms of that attraction piece, we want to make sure that there is some form of connection across the board. This is why portfolio business is not random different assets that you have all under your name. There is still a connection there, and you can find that through line between each of your offers and articulate that really, really well. If you're sitting here and you're feeling like, wow, this has been a lot, but it all sounds super exciting. I know I would love to lean more into this kind of model. I love the idea of flexibility whilst also having that security and really future-proofing your career. With the direction that we're headed in from an AI and tech perspective, this is a really smart way to build your business. It's flexible, it's agile, and by having those multiple revenue streams, it gives you that safety, that security that so many of us desire. If you're completely new to this, the Aligned Offer Blueprint is going to get you started. That will get you to identify what your next best offer is that exists within your genius zone, and also will help you pinpoint, which one of these streams is going to be best for you. If you've already got a couple of streams, then my 90-day portfolio business incubator is the next best step. Or if you're really wanting to build it out legitimately, you're serious, you want to partner with somebody who gets this model, who can take you from 1 to 2 streams into your full portfolio, you're going to want to come and join me inside of Luminate. You can reach me on Instagram. I'll pop my bio below if we're not already friends, and we can talk more there about what's going to be the best step for you.